Happy Friday, everybody. It's really nice to be here for some Pilates. We've got 45 minutes of flow style class. Grab a towel roll, pillow, or cushion for your knees if you think you might want a little extra padding when we're down on all fours. Otherwise, we are all set. I am ready to stop talking and to start moving. So go ahead and meet me up on that mat. If you do have your extra padding, go ahead and place it down off to the side of your mat somewhere where we can grab it fairly soon, but not quite yet. And we're going to get our feet spread apart, a little bit wider apart, those heels a little bit wider apart than our shoulders. We'll turn our toes out toward the front bottom corners of the room. And if we can stay steady on our feet, like I'm doing my best to, we'll be in good shape. So let's settle our weight back toward our heels and let's roll to the outer borders and then the inner borders of our ankles and feet. Just getting those muscles warmed up a little bit, getting those nerve endings warmed up a little bit to help tell us where we are in space. We'll settle right back to the center of our foot so that the heel, the big toe, and the pinky toe are all pressed firmly into the mat. Once we're here, let's shift our weight forward and back just a touch, rocking toward the toes and toward the heels. We'll do that a few more times. Feel how the whole lower half of the body starts getting into the mix, especially if we go a little farther forward or a little farther back. We'll feel our rear end kick in. We'll feel our toes and the bottoms of our feet kick in. We might feel our quads kick in as we settle our weight back toward our heels. We're going to feel our shins working a little. And let's settle right to the back of our arch now and soften those knees a little bit. We're going to take that tailbone down to the floor. We're going to take the crown of the head up to the ceiling. And let's picture a little space between each vertebra and a little space between the neck and the head. Little space between that low back and the pelvis as we send a plumb line down to the floor between our heels. Big breath in here, and exhaling, we're going to draw belly and spine together and feel that seatbelt of muscles engaging around our waistline. Let's shrug and release our shoulders, keeping a bit of activity through that midsection. Inhale, shrug them up, and exhale, drop them down. Let's take two nice big shoulder rolls back. We'll go up to the ears, back and toward each other like we're trying to crack a walnut between those blades. And then down toward the waistline. Let's repeat up to the ears, back and toward each other, down to the waistline. We'll get that chin a little nod toward the neck now. Keeping that nod, we're going to turn and look over one shoulder and over the other. Getting a little stretch on the side we're turning toward and the side we're turning away from. Keep looking side to side. We'll look forward, and now we're going to tip our head side to side, ear to shoulder and ear to shoulder. And let's repeat that again. Ear to shoulder and ear to shoulder. Coming right back to center. Let's take a big breath in. Now those arms come up and overhead, fingertips reaching to the ceiling. Arms come out to the sidewalls and down by the body. Again, take those arms out to the sides, up and overhead. And this time we're going to clasp our fingers, turn the palms to face the ceiling. And before we straighten out our elbows, let's let those shoulder blades slide down the back side of the body. Now with the big breath out, we can press those elbows in toward our head as we reach our palms upward. Again, letting those shoulders slide down the back side of the body, letting that neck get nice and long. And let's take some side bends. We'll arc that upper body side to side, just a touch first, kind of get the lay of the land here. And as we come a little further to each side, we're going to reach our hands toward the top side border of that wall on either side and press through our foot to come nice and firmly back up to that central position. As we side bend and as we come up, we're going to feel our waistline muscles engage in the front and the sides, maybe even across the back. We'll go one more time. Is it that upper body is a tree swaying in the breeze? Let's reach right back up to the ceiling. Let's open our arms up now. Palms are going to face forward. We drop those shoulders away from the ears, and let's take the hands slightly in front of trunk level so that if we wiggle our thumbs, we can see them in our peripheral vision. We'll spread the feet slightly farther apart. Soften the knees a little more, give them a little bend, sending that tailbone downward. And we're going to circle our arms on those outer walls. Let those shoulders spin in their sockets. Feel a little bit of effort, a little bit of exertion through those muscles in the upper arms. And we circle 4, 3, 2, and 1. Reverse that circle. Shoulders stay away from the ears. Maybe get a little bit of a burn in those muscles right at the shoulders. Circle 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release the shoulders down the back a little further, soften those elbows a touch more. And moving from that breastbone and upper body, we're going to rotate. We're going to turn toward one side wall and then the other, with the pelvis continuing to face that screen. Breathe in, face the screen, exhale and turn. Breathe in, face the screen, and exhaling, we'll turn one more time to the other side. Coming back to center, let's take our arms down. Give those shoulders a little shake. We'll give that head a little tip from side to side again. And we bring it up tall and take those feet in. This time, the heels are right underneath our sit bones. Feet are about hip width apart, and the toes are pointing directly forward, so our feet are parallel to each other. We're going to take our fingertips and our thumbs and circle our waistline with them. And as we draw belly and spine toward each other, we'll feel those muscles engage underneath our fingertips in front and underneath our thumbs in back. From here, we're going to keep that core active as we shift our weight as one unit forward and back toward the toes and toward the heels. We know our legs are working a little bit to help keep us in line and nice and balanced over that base of support from heel to toe rather. We're also going to feel what's going on underneath our fingertips. That trunk is working to help keep us up nice and tall as well. Shift forward, shift back, and then we'll shift our weight right over the front of our ankles. Now pushing from foot to foot, moving the body as one unit from the ankles all the way up through the crown of the head. We're trying to keep that trunk and pelvis lined up. As we push from side to side, we're going to feel those oblique muscles kicking in. They're going to help keep us nice and tall, nice and steady over our base of support, which shifts as we shift. We're going to feel our outer hips working. We're going to feel those glutes working a little. We may even feel our hamstrings just a little. And now let's make some circles around our base. Feel those trunk muscles kicking on a little bit differently again, depending on where we are in our range. And then let's pause wherever we are before circling the other direction. Again, we're going to keep that going. Circle and circle. One more time, we're going to circle and end up with our weight over the balls of the feet. As we keep our weight forward, we're going to spread our toes away from each other. Get a little stretch across the top of the foot. We press our pinky and our big toe firmly into the floor. And let's come forward enough that if we go any farther forward, those heels are going to come up off the floor. Now let's come forward and let the heels come up off the floor, just a touch. We'll feel those toes pressing into the mat. We're going to feel the soles of our feet engaging. And if we hold it here, we're going to feel the whole back of each leg start to do a little bit of work for us. We may even feel our inner thighs squeezing those legs slightly toward each other for some stability. And if we press in through our fingertips, we're going to feel that trunk acting to help keep us in line as well. Maybe we challenge a little bit more by taking our heels up and down. Doesn't have to be very far. It might be a millimeter higher up. It might be quite a bit higher. Feel the thighs start to burn a touch. We'll take it up and down. Feel the calves working here for 3, for 2, for 1. Keeping the weight forward, we'll lower those heels down. And when they touch the mat, we'll bring our weight right back over the front of our ankles. Get those legs a little shake. Get those wrists a little shake. And then let's bring our hands forward to shoulder level. With straight elbows now, we're going to point our fingertips down and up, lengthening through those tissues along the tops of the forearm, the undersides of the forearm. As we flip our fingertips to the ceiling, we make it a little stretch through the palm. Pressing the palms toward the screen, fingertips pointing upward. We're going to open those arms out until we start to get a little stretch through our palm. Maybe we feel that stretch extend all the way to the forearm, the underneath side of the forearm, and then maybe we can take those arms out a little farther. We'll feel our chest opening up as well. We may feel a little increase in that stretch toward the middle fingers. We're going to wave through those tissues, fingertips pointing up and down. If you need a little slack, soften up those elbows. We're going to wave those hands up overhead. Little nerve guide, little tissue glide through that chest. And then we're going to wave those hands out to T and then all the way down by our sides. All right, once they're there, we'll shake those wrists out. We'll shake those knees out one more time. And let's get ready to make our way down to the floor. So if you do have that extra padding, grab whatever it is now, take it to the center of the mat, and then let's turn and face it. We're going to back ourselves up a little bit, enough so that when we come down to the mat, our feet stay where, our toes stay where they are, but those knees just below the kneecap can come resting right onto that extra cushion if you're using it. So from here, we take the pinky side of our hands to where those femur bones fold into our pelvis, right at the front of the hips. We're going to tip that body forward. As we take our tailbone back, we can bend our knees just to counteract any tightness in the hamstrings. And then we're going to bring that body down, seeing if we can get it down to a position where it's parallel to the ceiling. Little tabletop, we can balance something in the small of our back here. Again, bend those knees as much as you need to, and we're going to reach our fingertips toward the mat. Shake those arms out, let them hang nice and loosely. Gravity's drawing them toward the floor in that vertical direction. And then we're going to move through a row, squeeze and release those shoulder blades, activating the mid-back, opening up through the chest. One more time, we'll squeeze and keep those elbows tucked by the sides. Most of us know what's coming. It's a triceps press. We're going to press those arms straight, reaching our fingertips back to the wall behind us. Press 4, Press 3, press 2, press 1, and let's sweep our hands back to the mat. We'll bend those knees a little bit further, and let's get our hands to the floor and walk those hands toward the head of our mat. Feel free to inch your knees and your toes back a little bit more. We're gonna get our knees down right underneath our hips, adjust to your padding if needed. The big toe and pinky are still pressed firmly into the floor, so we may get a little stretch through the sole of the foot here. Take a big breath in, and on that breath out, draw the belly up toward the spine. We're gonna try to keep those trunks nice and still here. So if we had a curve in the small of the back when we started, we're gonna still have that curve when that belly draws up. Let's gently rock back and forth, bringing the bottom toward the heels, and then bringing those shoulders right back over the wrists. Again, we want to keep that back nice and still, as if we're going to balance something on it that we want to stay put. Coming right back up over those wrists, let's wag our tail. We'll take that lower half of the body, and those hips go side to side toward the far wall and the near wall. And we're going to feel our waistline open up as we do this. Coming back to center, squeeze your blades together behind the back. Keep those elbows straight if you can. We're going to let that breastbone drop toward the floor. We may get a stretch through the chest and shoulders here. And then as we press the other direction, shoulder blades come to the floor. We're going to widen across the back of the body. We're going to feel those armpit muscles working a bit. Let's repeat that. Squeeze back, press forward. Again, we're doing our best to keep the small of the back still enough that we can keep something balanced there, even as that upper body moves. Squeeze and press. Holding that position, we're going to turn the tops of the feet down to rest on the mat. Let's wiggle through our hips a bit. We're going to tap one foot at a time just beyond the outer border of our mat. And keeping the rest of the trunk nice and still. This should be within a range that's easy for you to move. Maybe a little crunchy. Sometimes we'll get some crunchies if we're a little stiff. Let's cross one ankle over the other one. But nothing should be painful and nothing should feel forced here. So if it does, I want you to just take it and cross it a little bit less. And cross. So we come right back to center now. We're going to take those big toes together. Move the knees outward toward the edge of the mat, as far as you're comfortable doing so. And let's rock the bottom back to the heels and then bottom right up over in line with the knees again. We'll do a few rocks here, just get used to this new position. Adjust your knees as you see fit, either a little bit further apart or a little closer together. And we're going to press the heels of our hands through the mat, lengthening our tailbones down toward our heels. So we should get a little stretch here. We may get a little stretch under the armpits. We may get a little stretch across the top of the foot. Holding here, we're going to shift our weight side to side, pressing the floor away with our hands. We might start to feel a little opening through our hips. We're going to come back to center, bend the elbows, place the forearms on the mat, and draw them into the inner knee joint lines again. And again, we're going to shift our weight side to side. We'll be able to press a little bit more slightly different leverage and get a little stretch through the outer borders of our thighs here. Coming right back to center, we'll slide those hands forward, reach them toward the head of the mat. Maybe we inch and walk our fingertips forward a little bit more. What we're going to feel here is a stretch underneath the sides of the armpits, right along the outside borders of those shoulder blades. If you feel like you're getting hung up in your shoulders, take the hands out a little closer to the outer edges of the mat. And from here, we'll slide the hands forward again. Maybe we can lower our forehead down toward the floor. Let's breathe in here. Exhaling, wrap your shoulder blades forward toward the mat. We're keeping our hands pressing firmly into the floor. And we're going to feel a stretch through those armpits, either right in the front of them or right to the sides of them. Let's walk our hands toward the screen, pause with those thumbs crossed, and we'll breathe in again. Let's breathe it out and walk those hands to the other side. And again, let's pause here, hand over hand, take that breath. Exhaling, walk those hands forward. We'll drop to our forearms, shift the weight over those elbows so the upper arms are nice and vertical. Let's take any extra cushioning you have under the knees, place it off to somewhere else where we can grab it again later. And we're going to lengthen our legs out along the floor, resting in the middle of our thighs. Maybe we can tighten up our thighs. Maybe we can straighten our knees out a little bit. You decide if that feels appropriate. And we're going to press our breastbone up to the wall in front of us. Take a breath here, big breath. Exhaling, we're going to draw those elbows toward our waistline. So we're a little bit shy of vertical with those arms, but the elbows can kind of tuck in by our sides. We're going to lower those breastbones toward the floor and then press through the hands, come up a little bit taller with the breastbone. Lower and lift that upper body at a speed that makes sense for you. We want to feel our triceps working. We want to feel like we can still keep our chest open. We're not pressing hard into our chest. We're just gently lowering that breastbone toward the floor. Let's press it up to center again. We're going to turn to our sides and then make our way all the way over to our backs. That far arm came underneath the body. It's now resting right by our sides, and we line our heels up with our sit bones.
Let's flip our palms to face the ceiling, press the backs of our thumbs into the floor. That's gonna open up the chest a bit. Let's keep that core engaged or reset belly to spine. Slide the arms along the floor until we get them up to a level where they're close to level with our shoulders. So we have a straight line from one hand to the other. Let's turn our head to look toward the screen and toward the far wall, opening up the chest. Getting a little mobility through that whole front of the body, including those upper arms. We may even feel this stretch through to our forearms or our hands a little bit. If the fingertips start to get a little fuzzy, bring the hands down closer to your body. Let's look toward the ceiling. Take a big breath in, and exhaling, we nod the chin toward the neck, feel the back of the neck lengthen into the mat. Let's bend our elbows, take the fingertips to the lowest ribs. And from here, we're gonna breathe out and draw the lowest ribs down. We'll feel the middle back pressing into the floor as we do so. And then after those ribs are anchored down toward the floor, we can draw our belly to our spine, feel that whole front of the body engage. We take our arms down by our sides now, and let's bring one knee up to 90 degrees. Keep that core active as we take our other knee up to tabletop. Let's now press our hands into our thighs. Drop the shoulders away from the ear. Press your elbows and your hands toward the wall in front of your feet. And we're going to feel that whole midsection start to engage, the whole front of the trunk. Let's hold here. Take some breaths. Circle your ankles. Just making sure we can do two things at once. Pressure and ankle motions. We'll circle the ankles the other way. And then pointing those toes toward the wall in front, we'll now straighten and bend our knees. Find the distance you can move through, the range you can move through, while keeping those thighs nice and steady, nice and vertical. Straighten and bend those knees. Hold them bent. And let's draw our far knee all the way into the body. Roll the shoulders back and down, keeping the core engaged and that trunk nice and still. We're going to press that free leg forward to the wall. Let's lower it down till the heel barely touches. And then we'll lift right back up, reaching those toes up to the top of the wall in front. Breathe out, lengthen that foot down. Inhale it up toward the top of that wall. Exhale and lower. Inhale and lift. Feel your quads engaging. Exhale, lower. Inhale and lift. We're going to hold that leg reaching up toward the top of the wall in front, and let's switch sides. Pull the other knee in. Press forward. Let's press it all the way toward the top of that wall in front. Reset those shoulders away from the ears and open that chest, and we'll lengthen that newly freed leg down toward the floor. Touch that heel down. Breathing in, we lift up toward the top of the wall. Exhale, lengthen down. Inhale and lift. Two more. Exhale, lengthen down. That tailbone stays nice and heavy and pressed into the mat. Inhale and lift. And one more time. Exhale, lower that leg toward the floor. This time we're going to keep that knee nice and straight and lower the back of that leg all the way to the mat. Take that bent knee. We're going to press our other hand on the mat and draw that knee across the body till we will go into the side of our hip a little bit. Give a little opening to that low back as well. Take it to center. And take your other hand to that bent knee. We're going to draw it out toward the screen, opening up the inner thigh while trying our best to keep that pelvis facing the ceiling. Pulling back to center, let's switch legs. Pull up into the chest, lengthen the opposite leg out along the mat, tighten up the front of that knee, and we'll draw that knee across the body, bringing it toward the screen, opening up the outer hip. Take it back to center and breathe that knee out to the far wall, keeping that pelvis level with the ceiling. Breathe it back to the middle, hold it here. And then let's take our hands behind the lifted thigh, kick the thigh into the hands and stretch those toes up to the ceiling. We're going to pause at that first point of resistance behind that lifted thigh, and we add a little ankle wiggle. Keep that wiggle going, and then wiggle the foot toward and away from that screen. Feel a little pull through the lower leg. We'll point the toes to the ceiling, reset belly to spine, and hover the supporting leg up off the floor. Let's keep it there and circle the wall in front of us with that hovered leg. There's 4. Circle 3. Circle 2. And 1. Switch it up, circling the other way. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it here, big breath in. Exhaling, we lower that hovered leg to the mat. Pay attention to where your lifted leg is. Can we keep it right where it is as we bring our arms to the ceiling and drop those shoulder blades down? With the pelvis staying nice and still, let's take that lifted leg and open it side to side. Toward the screen, across the body, away from the screen, out toward that far wall. Twice more, we cross. And we open, and one last time, over toward the screen. and away, and let's circle the ceiling here. There's 4. Circle 3, 2, breathe in at the top, and then exhaling, we'll take that circle the other direction. There's 4. Feel free to bend your knee if you need a little bit of slack. Here's 2. And 1. Draw that knee into the body, give it a pull with the hands as we think about releasing the muscles in the front of the hip. We'll give our shoulders a roll back and down and switch sides. Pulling and pressing, we lengthen that lifted leg along the mat. Let's hold on behind our lifted thigh and kick the thigh into the hands. Wiggle that knee straight. Find your length behind that hamstring. This side's a little bit bent for me. You're welcome to straighten it out as best you can. You're welcome to ease into that range. And let's flex and point our toes. Point into the ceiling and then point them toward the far wall and then toward the screen. Wiggle that ankle side to side. Point them toward the ceiling with that belly engaged. We're going to hover our supporting leg up off the mat. Hold it there. Circle the wall in front with that hovered leg. There's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Breathe in. Exhaling, we take it the other way. Here's 3, and 2, and 1. Press that foot into the mat. We pay attention again to where our thigh is. Add a little slack if necessary by bending that knee a touch. And we raise our arms to the ceiling. Drop the blades to the mat. And we take our lifted leg side to side toward the screen and then across over the body. Let's keep that going. Side to side. And one last time. Let's circle the ceiling here. Keeping the pelvis still as we can, keeping that middle back pressed down, keeping the belly engaged. 2 more times. Breathe in at the top and then exhaling, we'll circle the opposite direction. Again, feel free to reassess your knee position. A little more bend or a little more straight, depending on what's working for you. We pause at the top and then let's hug that knee into the body. As we pull it in toward us, again, we focus on releasing the muscles in the front of that thigh. Let's draw the other knee in, and as we hug the knees toward the chest, we're going to bring them slightly away from the trunk so the knees are pointing toward those armpits now. We have a little bit more room to open up that low back, and as we draw the knees in, we're going to feel that low back melt into the floor. We make it a stretch right around the waistline. We can rock that body from side to side as we take a big breath in and a big breath out. Let's come back to center, hold it here. We're going to keep our knees out to the sides where they are. Maybe we bring them out even a little bit further and flex the feet. Let's take our heels and draw them toward each other. If they're not touching, let's bring those feet up a little higher until they can touch. Let's float our arms to the ceiling, drop the blades down to the floor and drop them down. Very engaged. From here, you can think about drawing the belly back a little closer to the spine. Let's hold here. We're going to wiggle our knees together and apart while pressing our heels together. Feel those inner thighs activating. Press apart, press together, press apart. One more time, press together, press apart. We're going to draw the heels in toward the body for frog. Then breathing out, we're going to press our heels toward the ceiling, slightly in front of those hips. Inhale to frog and exhale, press. We'll repeat this. If you want to challenge that trunk a little further, take those heels a little farther forward toward the middle of the wall in front of us. Inhale to frog, exhale, keep pressing. One more time, inhale to frog, exhale and press. Turn those feet parallel to each other, hug the knees into the body, and let's give everything a side to side rock. We'll take a big breath in here and a big breath out. Take it back to center, and we're going to guide our feet to the mat. Let's press our heels into the floor. Heels, knees, and hips are equal distance apart, so there's a little bit of daylight between those knees. Let's bring our hands down to the mat and open up those collarbones. Stretch those collarbones out as we're trying to touch the walls to either side. Big breath in and exhale, belly to spine. Let's squeeze our glutes and press those heels into the floor as we lift our hips to bridge. As we lift, we're going to do our best to get those hips up, shooting ultimately for a straight line between our shoulders, our hips, and our knees. A lot of things can contribute to being able to or not being able to do that. So if you feel it in your low back, I do want you staying down a little bit lower. If you feel like it's just a little stretch through the front of the thighs, maybe we can push up a little more, pushing through those heels. Lower and lift those hips. There's 4. Squeeze and lift. Find your range that works for you. Lower and lift, here's 3. Lower and lift for 2. Lower and lift, and we're gonna hold those hips up in the air as we take one knee at a time out to our side wall. There's 8, 7, 6, 5, one at a time, there's 4. And 3, 2, 1. Breathe it in at the top and exhaling, we lengthen those hips down, reaching our tailbone toward our heels. Release your glutes at the bottom of the motion. Let's rock our knees toward and away from the screen. Let's take a few deep breaths as we continue to rock. And we'll come back to center. Big breath in here. Exhale, belly to spine. Squeeze and lift those hips right back up. Again, find the top of your motion. Stretch the knees to the wall in front. And keeping our hips lifted, we'll go for our heel raises. Lift those heels up and down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe it in. Exhale, lengthen down. Release those glutes at the bottom and give those knees a side to side rock as we again continue to breathe in and continue to breathe out. Coming back to center, take that breath in again. Belly to spine on the exhale, squeeze. We're going to lift up one more time and hold. Pressing that far foot into the mat, we'll move to a march. Take that near leg and lift it up and down. Knee to the ceiling. Maybe even raising those toes to the ceiling, straightening out that knee. You decide if that's appropriate. Here's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Last 2. And 1. Press that foot down, take a big breath in. Breathing out, we lengthen down. Release those glutes at the bottom, and we take those knees toward the screen. We take them away. We breathe to the center, excuse me, to the center, and then let's hug our knees into the body. As we bring those knees in, we release the front of the hips. Maybe we get a little stretch through those rear end muscles, and we rock side to side. Let's come back to center, drop the far foot to the mat, cross that knee or ankle over to that far knee. Give that knee a little chance to open up out to the sides, find the first natural stopping point without pushing anything. And then if we have a little more slack remaining, we can lift that other foot up off the mat. Whether we're lifted or on the floor, we get a little rock away from that crossover side. We're going to feel that stretch move outward a little. Sometimes we don't feel much of a change in the stretch. Sometimes that rock over just lets us get that leg crossed. Coming back to center, let's take our feet back to the mat. We'll cross the other one over. Gently find that in range, that first point of resistance. And then we can lift if we have a little more room and rock. So you can keep your shoulders down. We rock one more time, then let's come right back to center. Unwind the knees, take those feet to the floor. Turn toward our screen. We're going to come back to our hands and knees position. So gather your cushion if you'd like to use it. And once we're all settled, wrists and shoulders, knees and hips lined up. Let's take a big breath in and exhale, belly to spine. Let's curl through cat. Curl that tailbone under, look toward the thighs. Take it to cow, tailbone to the ceiling, breastbone forward. Curl it up. Lengthen the other direction. 2 more, curl the cat. Take it to cow, and 1 more time, curl it up. Take it the other way, and then we bring ourselves right back to center. Tail a little wag, take it side to side. Coming right back to center, we hold here, and we're going to shift our weight away from the screen. Take the close hand right to the same side thigh. Shoulders are squared off against the mat, and we squeeze and press through our supporting shoulder blade. There's 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch hands. Hands to thighs, squeeze and press. 4, 3, 2. And 1. Take that second hand down. Slide the near leg back. Squeeze your glute and lift that leg up and down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Turn the foot under. Press the ball of the foot into the floor. Press through those hands. Keep that core engaged. We're going to lift our far knee and pulse it toward the arms for 4, for 3, for 2, For 1, take the knee down, slide that knee in right next to the other, curl to cat, take it to cow and come back to center. Squeeze the blades together, press them apart. We have a nice reset there, and we'll slide our far leg away. Keeping that leg straight as we can, squeeze that glute, lift and lower the foot. 4, 3, 2, 1. Turn those toes under, press the ball of the foot into the floor, press through the hands, draw the belly up to the spine, lift up that near knee and pulse into the arm. 4, 3, 2, 1. It goes right down underneath that knee. Opposite knee comes in, we curl up to cat. We take it to cow and come right back to center. Shake out the wrists if you need to. Spread those fingers away. Get a little bit of weight through the thumb, a little bit of weight through the pinky. We keep that core engaged, and one at a time we float an arm out to the side toward each side wall. Open to the side, float it back down. Open the arm to the side and float it back down. We're going to repeat that again. Toward the screen, toward the far wall, and come right back to center. Let's rock the bottom back to the heels. Come up nice and tall and turn those toes under. Pressing the balls of the feet into the floor and sending the heels toward the wall behind us. We should feel a little stretch through the back of the calf. Let's see if we can press through our toes and unweight our knees. Hold it here. Hold 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees come down. Stretch those feet back. We're going to move ourselves to plank. Let's see if we can hold our hips nice and steady without letting them come up and down. Take 1 foot at a time and tap it beyond the outer border of the mat. If you need more support, hips stay open, the knees come down. And we tap that whole lower leg down to each side. 4, 3, 2, 1. Take those knees right back under the hips again. Let's curl through cat. Take it through to cow. Come right back to center and drop to the forearms. We're going to lift up our wrists, give them a little circle. Each direction's good. And place the hands on the mat. We reset belly to spine. Let's keep our knees bent as we bring that near leg up off the mat. And then we float the knee back down. Press up, float down. Press up, float down. Press up and hold, straighten and bend that knee. There's 4, bottom to heel. Heel to bottom rather. 2, and 1. Reach those toes to the ceiling, flex your foot and pulse that heel up. There's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Float down, big breath. Exhaling, we switch sides. Lift up, lower down. Press up and lower. Press up, lower that knee. Press up and hold. Straighten the leg out. Feel the bottom. Straighten and bend. 2 more. Straighten and bend. Straighten that leg. Bend the knee up, heel the bottom, and then we reach our toes to the ceiling and flex that foot. Kick that leg up. There's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring that knee down. We're going to curl up through cat. Take our hands right down underneath the shoulders and let's unfold that body, coming up into a nice tall kneeling position. We'll bring one hand to the belly, one hand through to the back. Take a second to get set on your padding. We're going to hinge from our hips, taking that trunk forward. We're going to squeeze our glutes and press those hips forward now. So we make a little stretch through the front of the thighs. Keeping that core active, let's breathe that body back. Shoulders are coming close to lining up with our heels. We inhale up, hips are right over our knees now. Exhale, breathe it back. Inhale up tall, breathe it back. Inhale up tall, and as always, we're going back in the range that's working for you. Breathe it back. And let's come up nice and tall. We're going to hinge from our hips. Take those palms and forearms down to the mat. Move that cushion out from under the knees. We'll come right back to our upper thighs. Squeeze those blades together, press them apart, and reset belly to spine. Let's kick 1 foot at a time toward the bottom, doing our best to keep that curve in the back nice and still. Kick, kick. Kick 4. Kick 3. Kick 2. Kick 1. Straighten those legs out. 2 nice slow movements. Heels to bottom. And straighten 1 more time. Straighten out. All right, we are going to turn to our side and then turn to take a long seat on our mat. Weight is over the front of our sit bones. We're gonna bring our heels to the outer edges of our mat, and then keeping that trunk and pelvis vertical and aligned, we're gonna straighten our knees out as best we can without letting that body tip back. Okay, so we are up in a nice tall V. Hands are gonna come out to line up with our feet, and we take a big breath in. Breathe out, belly to spine. We're gonna hinge the body forward, reaching the crown of the head up toward the top of the wall in front of us. Inhale up tall, exhale, we hinge and lift forward. It is okay with me, those knees can be bent as much as they need to. Inhale up tall and exhale, hinge. Inhale up tall, exhale, hinge. We're reaching those fingertips over our toes. Hold 3, 2, and 1. We'll bring our bodies up nice and tall. Feet come together, shake those legs out, and then bend up the knees. We're gonna keep our toes lifted. We take our hands to the outer thighs. With the elbows tucked in by the sides, we're gonna press our hands and knees toward each other. We'll feel a little bit of effort through the outer hips. Not a ton, but a little bit's working. We're gonna open up our elbows, straighten them out, taking the body back until we feel the front of our trunk start to work. Hold it there. Reset belly to spine, and then one at a time, we open an arm out to each side wall while keeping that other hand firmly pressed into your lower thigh. Open and close. Feel those side muscles working. Open and close. Here's 4. Switch 3. And 2. Last one. Grab the shins, pull the body up tall, and let's roll our shoulders back and down. Let's bring our feet a little farther apart and take our hands back behind the body. We can have our fingertips facing forward or slightly out to the side. Let's press the heels of the hands firmly into the mat. And we're gonna bring our shoulders back till they're almost over the wrists, maybe a little bit farther forward. Spread those fingers away from each other, and let's squeeze our shoulder blades and press them down. So we're getting a little more pressure through the heels of the hands. We're gonna bring that breastbone up and forward toward the wall in front of us, and then let's inch the bottom forward also. Walk it toward those feet. Find the stretch through your biceps. Hold it there. Walk the feet forward a little bit more and reset belly to spine. So we're drawing our belly away from our thighs. We're gonna open and close one knee at a time out to each side wall. Again, keeping the pelvis and trunk as still as we can. Coming forward, let's rock our knees tight toward the screen and away. We're looking for that chest stretch, looking for that bicep stretch. Coming back to center, hold it here. We walk our heels back toward the bottom. And if we have a little more slack in the system, we can lift our hips up just a touch, or we can lift them all the way up to that reverse tabletop. Wherever we are, we're gonna hold it here. Hold 4, hold 3, hold 2, hold 1. Lower that bottom. Let's turn and face our screen. Shake out the wrists, roll across our arms, roll them the other way. Give them a shake. Excellent. From here, find just a comfortable sitting position for you. We're going to tip our head from side to side. We'll look up nice and tall, and we're going to turn to look over one shoulder and over the other, seeing if we can maybe see beyond that side wall toward the wall behind us. One more turn to each side. Excellent. Let's face forward. We'll make our way down to one side. Bend those knees forward, line the heels up with the bottom, and lift that waistline up. We'll take our top hand to that top hip. Pressing the toes together, we lift our top knee up and down. 4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna do a 4-part clam here. Top heel lifts, top knee lifts. Top knee comes down, top foot comes down. Lift the toes, lift the knee, lower the knee. Lower the foot, 2 more. Lift and lift. Knee down, foot up. Lift that knee, knee down, foot down. Both feet come up and down together. 4, 3, 2. Lift and hold. Top foot stays still, bottom foot stays still. Press the knee up. Lift 3. Here's 2. And 1. Knee comes down, take both feet down, and we'll press up to hydrants. Lift 4. Lift 3. Lift 2. Lift 1. Take it back to hip height and hold. Top hand comes down to meet the floor, and we stretch both those legs out straight. Flex the top foot, we swing it forward, point it back. Flex it forward, point it back. 2 more. Flex forward, point back. Last one, flex forward, point back. Toes come down and up for 4, 3, 2. Lift and hold. Pulse the top leg up. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Tighten up that bottom thigh. Lift it up and down. Touch that top leg or come as close as you can. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Those legs come down. Bend those knees up and we'll give our hip a pat. Let's go ahead and bring ourselves up and over to the other side. We'll come back down to that opposite arm. Bend up the knees and lift that waistline up with a hand on that top hip. Press that top knee up for 4, 3, lift 2, and 1. Knee comes down, 4 part clam. Lift the foot and the knee. Knee down, toes down. Lift and lift. Take it down. Lower the foot. Lift the foot and the knee. Lower and lower. Last time through. Lift that foot. Lift the knee. Knee down. Foot down. Both feet lift together. 4, 3, 2. Lift and hold. Feet stay up. Press that top knee up. Press 3. Here's 2. And 1. Knees come down. Feet come down. Press that bottom leg into the mat. Lift hydrants. Lift 3. Lift 2. Lift 1. Take it back to hip height. Top hand comes down to press into the floor. Straighten out those legs. Flex the top foot. Swing it forward. Point it back. Flex. Bring it forward. Point it back. Flex forward. Point back. One more time. Flex forward. Point back. Toes come down behind that bottom leg. We lift them up. Lower and lift. Lower and lift. One more. Lower. Lift up and hold. Pulse up. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slide that bottom leg back. We lift it up and down. There's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take those feet down. Bend up your knees. Pat out that hip and let's turn onto our backs. Whew. Settle into that mat. Bring the hands down by the sides. And we'll walk our heels in toward the bottom as we take a big breath in. Exhale. Get that whole back half of the body nice and heavy into the floor. And we'll rock our knees from side to side. Feel free to lift the opposite hip up as we bring our knees to one side wall. And let's come back to center. Cross one ankle over that other knee. As before, if you want to lift up, you're welcome to take that foot up off the mat. Either way, we'll shift our weight away from and then toward that crossed over leg. One more time, rock. Come on back to center and let's switch. Ankle to knee. Lift if you can. And rock. One more time. Come on back to center. Unwind. Give those knees a hug into the body. Let's give everything a rock to each side. Coming back to center, we'll roll our shoulders back and down and take those feet to the floor. Let's go ahead and turn ourselves toward our screen. We'll pop up to hands and knees again. Again, if you want that cushioning, grab it now. Take it under the shins. Let's curl through cat. Through cow and right back to neutral. Repeat, curl the cat. Take it through the cow and come right back to center. Let's give that hip a wag, give our tail a little wag side to side. One more each. And come on back to center. Turn the toes under, we'll press the bottom back to the heels and walk our hands back toward those legs. As we press through our hands, we're going to get our weight centered right back over our feet. Let's wait to stand until we're right over the front of our ankles. So we have that nice, efficient line of push, line of pull. Settle into your feet, shake your knees out, and we'll make our way to the center of our mat. Let's get our feet shoulder width apart, toes turned out to the front bottom corners of our room. We're going to soften up those knees. Let's settle into the outer border and then the inner border of our foot. We'll repeat that one more time. Rock out, rock in, and rock right back into center with heels, pinkies, and big toes pressed firmly into the floor. Shake your wrists out, and let's give those shoulders a couple of rolls back and down. As we drop those shoulders, we'll tip our heads side to side.
And bring that head up tall. Let's take our feet together. We're gonna close with a big breath in, arms come out to the sides, up and overhead. With the palms facing each other, we'll look upward and press those hands together. And then draw everything into center.
Excellent job as always. Thank you for being here and have a wonderful weekend. See you guys next time.